Storytelling is one of the oldest medicines known to humankind. In African traditions, stories are not just entertainment. They are pathways to healing, vessels of wisdom, and bridges between generations. Through stories, communities pass on lessons, preserve history, and transform pain into strength. When we listen to a story, we do not just hear words, we step into a shared space of memory, meaning, and healing. For centuries, African storytellers, called griots, elders, or keepers of the word, have carried the responsibility of guiding the community through the power of narrative. And even today, their wisdom shows us how storytelling can mend the wounds. Why stories heal. There is an old Nigerian proverb: until the lion learns to write, every story will glorify the hunter. This wisdom reminds us of why storytelling is so important. If we do not tell our own stories, someone else will tell them for us, and they may not honor our truth. Storytelling heals because it allows us to reclaim our narrative. Trauma, especially generational trauma, can silence voices. But when we speak our story, we return to ourselves. We say, I am here. My life has meaning. My ancestors' struggles are not forgotten. Psychologists today confirm what African traditions have known for centuries. Telling our stories can reduce stress and create connections that repair isolation. The role of the griot. In West African traditions, the griot is more than a storyteller. They are historians, healers, and spiritual guides. Through spoken word, music, and rhythm, griots keep alive the memory of entire communities. When a griot speaks, the past comes alive. Listeners feel their ancestors' courage. This collective memory brings healing because it reminds the community, we have endured before, we can endure again. Imagine sitting under the night sky, gathered around a fire, listening to a griot's voice rise and fall like a drumbeat. With each word, you feel not only entertained but transformed. That is the power of African storytelling. Stories as medicine. In many African traditions, stories are seen as medicine. Just as herbs heal the body, stories heal the spirit. They give meaning to suffering and offer pathways to resilience. In some cultures, a story is told when someone is ill or grieving. The story may not directly mention their struggle, but it carries symbols that speak to their soul. The listener finds strength, guidance, or simply the comfort of knowing they are not alone. As the proverb says, a story is like the wind. It comes from a far-off place, and yet it touches us here. Healing through metaphor. One reason stories are powerful healers is that they use metaphor. Metaphors allow us to explore painful truths in a gentle way. For instance, instead of speaking directly of war or loss, a storyteller might speak of a wounded tree that still grows new branches. The listener understands the meaning without being overwhelmed by the raw pain. This indirect healing is especially important for children who may not yet have the words to express trauma. Through stories, they learn resilience, courage, and compassion without even realizing it. The fire circle. One of the most sacred spaces for storytelling in African traditions is the fire circle. Elders share wisdom with the young, and the young ask questions. In this circle, no one is alone. The fire becomes a symbol of shared warmth, shared light, and shared healing. In modern times, we may not always gather by fire, but the principle remains. Healing storytelling happens in community, whether it is around a kitchen table, in a place of worship, or through a digital screen. When stories are shared, healing spreads. Storytelling and identity. Generational trauma often leaves people feeling rootless, disconnected from who they are. Storytelling reconnects us. By hearing the struggles and triumphs of those before us, we remember that we belong to a larger story. African stories often remind listeners you are not just yourself, you are the continuation of those who came before you. This knowledge is deeply healing. It means we are never alone. We are part of a lineage of resilience. Transforming silence into voice. Trauma silences. It tells us our pain does not matter, our voices are too small, our stories unworthy. But storytelling breaks that silence. When we speak, we reclaim power. When we listen, we honor others. And when we share, we create a space where wounds can turn into wisdom. This is why African traditions place such importance on oral history. Written records can be lost, but spoken stories live in the body, in the breath, in the rhythm of words passed from one heart to another. Practical ways to use storytelling for healing. You may wonder, how can I use storytelling for my own healing today? Here are some practices inspired by African wisdom. Tell your own story. Begin by speaking or writing your experiences. You do not need to be a poet. Your truth itself is medicine. Listen to elders. Ask older family members to share their stories. Record them if possible, so their wisdom is never lost. Create a story circle. Gather friends or family. Take turns telling stories from your lives. Let listening be as important as speaking. Use symbol and metaphor. If the pain feels too heavy, tell it as a story about something else. A tree, an animal, a journey. Healing can happen gently. Pass stories to children. Teach them the proverbs and folktales of your culture. This gives them resilience and identity from a young age. The story continues. There's a Swahili proverb that says, "When an elder dies, a library burns to the ground." This wisdom is powerful because it reminds us of something we often forget in the rush of modern life. Our elders carry entire worlds within them. Every wrinkle is a page, every memory is a chapter, and every story is a book. When we lose them, we lose the knowledge, resilience, and wisdom they carried for us. This is why storytelling in African traditions is not just something nice to do, it is a necessity. It is a sacred responsibility. Storytelling preserves memory. It keeps our history alive. It allows us to see ourselves not just as individuals, but as threads woven into a much larger fabric. Each story is a thread connecting us to those who came before and those who will come after. Think about the stories that have shaped you. Perhaps it was a grandmother's tale of her childhood. Perhaps it was an uncle's story of struggle and triumph. Maybe it was a proverb shared in passing that has stayed with you for years. These stories are not accidents. They are gifts. When we tell our own stories, we heal a piece of ourselves. To speak our truth out loud, even in small ways, is to reclaim power over the parts of our lives that silence or trauma try to take away. And when we listen to another's story, we give them a gift too. It is active healing. To listen deeply is to say, I see you, I honor you, you are not alone. Many people carry stories they feel no one wants to hear. When we become witnesses to those stories, we remind them that their story matters. The true power of storytelling lies in sharing it forward. Each time we pass down a story, we break cycles of silence and bring hidden pain into the light. You are a storyteller too. Your life itself is a story. Every choice, lesson, and challenge holds meaning. When you share with honesty and courage, you join the unbroken line of African storytellers. Remember, your story is not small. It carries wisdom, light, and medicine. It is not over. It continues with you, shaping generations to come.